Welcome, dear Arjava, the Spirit of Reiki Part 2. After 3 months, we are together again. Yeah.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to spend time with you. I don't really like to do online work, and you notice that I've done lots of videos and podcasts and things. I don't really like to do it. I love to do these things in person. But what to do? The distance is big. We cannot just meet, and it's better than not meeting at all. But I really prefer to meet people in person because Reiki is all about touch. And I can't touch anyone through the screen. And of course, I don't mean only physical touch, but I also mean touch from the heart and the atmosphere, even though it comes through the computer somehow, is always best transmitted in person.
Yeah, I agree with you. Despite me, I like too much to work online, really, because I feel that online we can cover more people.
Of course, you can include all the people that maybe otherwise don't have a chance to do it for reasons of distance, but also finance. Also true. So I can invite a lot of people.
Yeah,
Nice. This is a nice thing about online work.
yeah. It's like in a recent Congress on the 18th of April, I participated in Reiki Congress in Moscow. I was participating online, but it was offline event. So we were about 100 people, I think, offline and 150 people online. So even more, and everyone was sitting in the comfort of its own place and the zone and the house. And it's so nice to be, and you feel this energy, even through the screen, this atmosphere. It was incredible. And, I will speak about the Congress in a while. But it was so nice, people, they were talking about you, even I remember one person, she said, Arjava is my teacher, he's in my lineage, and this is incredible. And I remember after the first interview with you, when we finished after almost 1.5 hours, I just sat, I had my coffee, and because we were talking about Reiki too much, we were in Reiki state. I was just sitting about 2-3 hours, just looking at sky, and no even one thought in my head.
Oh, nice, beautiful.
Yeah. So
Beautiful. That's what it's all about. So essentially, Reiki is all about self-realization, about having a taste of the unity of cosmos and you. And if that can be transmitted, work is done. Nice.
yeah, even through the screen online.
Yeah, of course, because it's all these beautiful values that we have, let's say love, compassion, peace, kindness, all these good enlightenment, all these good things, we tend to project them outside of us, but they're really inside. And so, and it's yours, is your birthright, it's your essence. So you can find it. You don't need anybody else for that. But because we tend to always project out, we need help.
Yeah.
If we were super hyper intelligent, the way that we were born super intelligent, then we would just get it by ourselves. But as we are a little bit thick, we need help from others, yeah, which is also nice. I have had so much help you cannot imagine. I've always had very good teachers, and they helped me a lot, and I'm glad that they appeared in my life, so we don't have to do it alone.
This is when we say when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
That's been my experience. It goes like that, but it goes, I think, not only in the spiritual realm like that, but for everything, for partnership, same. When you are really ready, then the partner will appear when you're really ready. But what does it mean to be really ready? It means you have to be fed up. You have to have the water up to here, just before you drown. Then you're ready. You're ready for big change. And I think that's like it with everything. Business probably the same. So
Yeah,
we need to really know very well what we don't want. And
exactly.
yeah, all our practice in life with business, with relationships, with the things that you do and you don't, all the practices, I think, to figure out what we don't want.
Exactly. By exclusion methods. So this is
Yes, yes,
100% I don't want. Okay. And
yes.
then what I want.
Yes, it's like modern medicine. You exclude things one at a time, one, then the next, then the next, then the next.
Yeah.
Okay.
And always what I like to say that to be ready not by brain, but by heart, because brain is saying, I'm ready, I want it, but deep inside, are you ready for a change?
This is a really big question that all of us Reiki practitioners encounter all the time. You have clients that come to you, and they come with the pain, with the psychological or physical pain or a condition. And of course, everybody says, I don't want to be ill. I don't want to have this. And we know it from ourselves. I have like psoriasis, a skin issue from childhood. If you ask me, do you want to get rid of it? I would say, oh man, oh, if I could get rid of it, I would be so happy. But deep down somewhere, there is something that's holding on to it. There's something that says, oh, but it's safe. I feel safe with my condition. And you even the language, if you watch what people say, my pain,
Yeah.
that's not a good thing to say. If you say my pain, then my pain is nice to keep my pain because mine, and I love it somewhere. So it's very tricky looking at ourselves, reflecting within, and seeing that on some hand you want to change, but on the other hand you don't. And the same thing happens with our clients all the time. And why is it that somebody manages to really say, no, finish, enough, and change and get rid of his suffering while somebody else says they want to do it but can't? What is keeping us? And for sure, it's learning that is keeping us. The continuing learning process. As long as you haven't learned your lesson, you continue. It's like at school.
Mm-hmm.
If you fail again and again and again, it will make you repeat it. Same with us.
Yeah. Some of my clients, they they want to get married, they want partnership. Again, the mind wants, but it doesn't happen. And then you go here deep inside. Do you really want it? Are you really ready for that new change in your life? That's
Yeah, and all the things that come with it, of course, it's not to be underestimated. When we talk about partnership with people, or people ask me how to find a good partner,
Mhm.
I enjoy that kind of thing a lot. It doesn't have anything to do with Reiki, but I always say to them, first of all, write down exactly, take a journal, notebook, and write down exactly what you want. But exactly, without making any compromises. 100%. If you want a woman with a beautiful body, you write that. If you want a man that is muscular and strong, and you write that. If you want a big nose, small nose, blue eyes, green eyes, whatever, everything, and go into the minute detail, everything, like paint the perfect, let's say the perfect picture, what you need to nourish you deep, deep, deep inside. And it's a very healing process. I'm not saying that you will manifest somebody. You will not, because that person is already here. You don't need to manifest them. If you have to manifest them, then they'll be too young for you. But really find out what you need, and don't think of things that you could be judged as superficial. Nothing is superficial. Everything has a deeper meaning. Everything, every small thing. And they go deep, deep inside and see, what does it mean? You need somebody who's humorous, who's funny, who's witty, who's intelligent, with whom you can communicate clearly. If you are a person that likes theater and movies and things, you need to find somebody who likes the same things.
Yeah. And it's applicable also for business partners, for friends.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And then when you find somebody where there's the compatibility, then put all your cards on the table. And this is where a lot of people just can't. They go through it, they work on all the other stuff, but when it comes to the point where you have to basically strip naked in front of the other, put your cards on the table, be completely yourself, whatever that is, because sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good.
Yeah.
That's where people stop.
Yeah.
And this is the most beautiful, is when you melt, and when you don't play, no games, no politics, no lies, no, just everything straightforward, all truth. I mean, your subjective truth, of course.
When you are yourself.
When you are yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what many people forget. They want, they have all the criteria to meet the person, how they want to meet the person, but they forget the most important thing, how I would like to feel myself next to this partner.
You know, I always appreciated that with my wife, I can be cranky, I can be in a bad mood, I can be a pain in the neck, I can be neurotic, which all the things that happen to me too, like everyone. And she will just embrace that whole package. And oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is nice, but takes courage to let's say expose yourself.
And there is no judgment.
No,
Whatever you are today, there is no judgment from the other
no,
part.
And of course, this needs to be mutual.
Yeah. Yeah.
If one is not prepared to do, it doesn't work.
Yeah. But you know, I've watched many of your interviews with different podcasters, and always I notice that you talk about your teachers with a big honor, and the moment you talk about them, your face change. You become lighter, you know, there is a smile on your face. What you
I
feel,
yeah,
what you feel inside when you talk about them?
I feel blessed, really. But that's the only thing I can say. I feel blessed. I've had very, very good teachers. My um, meditation teacher was also incredible, just incredible person. Meeting him face to face, talking to him was just indescribable. Then my Reiki teacher, Kyoko Yamaguchi, was in a completely different way incredible. Like where Osho was like the the most incredible person you have ever met. Kyoko Sensei was like your grandma, like really like your grandma. If you had a nice grandma, and I did have two nice grandmas, so it was like that. You felt just completely at home and relaxed, and you could tell her maybe things you couldn't tell to your mom, like that. Very relaxed and simple. Simple-minded, I don't mean it in a judgmental, negative way, but very simple. She often would say, when we asked an intellectual question, she would say, you think too much. But it wasn't like, oh, you're stupid, you think too much. But it was like, why you make it so complicated? Things are easy. Things are so easy. Then the other teacher I had, again, in a way, completely, utterly different, was Bert Hellinger of the Family Constellations. Totally different again. He was a bit like a father figure for me for a while. And I think that was mutual
Mhm.
impression. I've seen some pictures of him and me together, and there was some intimacy like that. It was very nice. And from all those three, I learned a lot. So whenever I remember them, I start to glow.
This is because you remember that state of energy, inner state. I mean, you got being next to them. Your body remembers that state of healing, peace, or what it is.
What I feel is that from these three people, and of course many more in my life, they pointed me in their own way in. Yeah, they helped me to look inside, to look at who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is such a, that's, I think it's the most beautiful gift that you can give to somebody. And it's my intention that when I work, that I will be able to do the same, to help somebody point the arrow of awareness inwards and
Mhm.
find out who they are.
Yeah.
That it's nice to teach somebody techniques, let's say, something they can practice, something they can use, something they can make money with. It's all nice. It's nice to help somebody in that way. But I think the really most valuable help is if somebody can help you discover yourself. And this is what all these guys and many, many more did. And And that's why I shine when I remember. But,
you are shining.
yeah, but the same is true if you ask me about my parents. Remembering them,
Yeah.
I go. Or the same is true if you ask me about my ex-partners. All of them. Yeah? When you ask me about them, I remember them. I go, oh. And all those people helped me with my self-discovery. Nice.
Yeah. And they say that people won't remember what you are saying, but they remember the state of inner peace they get when they are sitting next to you. Yeah. This is what you got from your teachers.
Yes, probably. I mean, they all had their own kind of self-realization in their own way. Everybody, of course, everybody different. Yeah, but every one of them had this quality that they know kind of who they are.
Yeah.
And this is what I like. So nice. When you have that, when I say knowing who you are, I don't mean it in an egoistic way at all, but with great humility that you, when you know your essence, you know everybody else's essence as well. And then you know we're all the same. Nobody's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no room for ego, for I remember you said we will talk about the the documentary we made with Rene Vögtli. And Rene and I, we didn't know each other very well before we did it. We had met on several occasions, had some email exchange, but didn't really know each other. And then I arrived in Switzerland and we were just chit-chatting before we started to film. And then at some point he said to me, oh, you know, some people were telling me, oh, this guy, Arjava, he has such a big ego. He's so egoistic. I just started to laugh. I just started to laugh because this is really not one of my great qualities. But somehow people who don't know me, maybe they think that because of this confidence that maybe you feel from me, that confidence, but that confidence is utterly humble. I
Yeah.
just have good sense of myself, and because I know this one, I also know you, and I know how beautiful you are. But maybe you haven't realized it.
Yeah, this is their projection. And sometimes I notice people, sometimes they don't mention the right words. They actually, they say ego, but they mean other things. This is what you say now about your confidence. It's actually your confidence, but they project it like you have big ego. So
Yeah, because they're insecure about themselves and whatever, what they feel, what they look like, what they do, or comparing themselves with somebody else. I don't do that. I don't compare myself
yeah,
with anyone. It's because, not because I'm better or anything, for God's sake, I'm not. But I see how everyone is unique in their own way. We live in a beautiful natural place here. I mean, really, in 2 minutes you're out in nature.
wow.
And there are no people, nothing. There's nothing going on, maybe the next 10, 20 kilometers or 30. And when you look at nature, you see that nature does not create inferior models,
Mhm.
doesn't create anything that is not perfect. Not as it is. Yeah? So one tree, we have lots of oak trees here. So one oak tree is bigger, one is smaller, one grows a little bit to the left, one grows to the right, one has a branch here, the other has a branch there. They're not the same, but they're all unique, and they're all just as they are beautiful, and the same is true for us. Such an easy truth, but so hard to wrap your head around it, to realize that you as you are just fine, perfect.
Yeah. Again, it's our ego defines this is big tree, this is small tree. You know, again, we are defining, but for tree, it's just the same.
Just a tree, and the same is true. It's just human, you know, just a human. One human there, another human there, or looking a little bit different, but the same stuff, same material.
Yeah. As you started to talk about Rene, I watched the first 1 hour film. It's free. It was free, and actually, I'm going to buy the next. I think there are more than 10 hours, 12 hours of recordings. But you know, I'm doing slowly because really I watched twice your interview with Rene, and so many insights I got from it. First of all, I looked at you from a different perspective, the way how you were talking about your teachers, other people you were mentioning in the interview. And, you know, today you mentioned about technique. And I think you were mentioning also the same in the interview. We can teach many techniques. Okay, even Reiki, we have techniques, we have manuals, but it's the most important what state you are transferring to the people being with them.
Techniques, and for this, the internet, of course, is wonderful. You can teach techniques, you can bring across technical knowledge or knowledge in general. You can pass that on to a lot of people very quickly. But make no mistake, the knowledge of other people is not yours.
Yeah.
It doesn't have transforming power. What has transforming power is your knowledge about yourself. And if that can be mixed into your cocktail, then that's good, because this is really what is important to me. So the technical part of Reiki is beautiful. I love that. But the real thing is mixed into the Reiki teaching, into the cocktail. I spike the cocktail with some different material, and this is more important. Is to help people look at themselves and embrace themselves and love themselves. This is the real deal. That's why we do. Otherwise, you know, if Reiki was just doing some kind of technique, you put your hand here, you put your hand there, you put your hand here, then you put it here for some pain, take an aspirin. You know, it's much better. Just take a pill and get over with it. But this is not why we do it. Usui Sensei, he started Reiki after his enlightenment. That's how he packaged what he understood for himself. That's how he tried to transport it to us. So underneath all our technical things and practical things is always that self-realization, that spark of self-realization. That's what it's all about.
Despite we need to teach the technique, we need to give the manual, this is what I've been thinking about the last 20 years of my practice. So what actually I was practicing very good. I don't want to define, but the energy I have Reiki is doing miracles without any technique, without any manual. But as a teacher, you need to have information to pass on your students. And over the 20 years, I was trying to find even about the history of Reiki, the exact proper information. I spent some time about it. But when you go to the point, okay, now I got it. I have all the information, okay? Then you think, and what's next? At the end of the day, this is the most important.
I agree. Of course, the technicalities are important. The history is important. Everything is important. And it's a nice, in a way, it's a nice hobby, to pass on this stuff. Maybe we can compare it with your inner search or so. So it's a nice hobby if you polish that diamond of your psycho-emotional self. But by definition, the psycho-emotional self always has flaws. Yeah, there are mistakes in the things that are not perfect, they could have a little bit more refinement, you could polish it, but the real issue would be to just look at that diamond and look at that clarity that is there. And then you don't really have to do anything. You don't even have to cleanse the things that are not perfect. You just say, okay, and embrace it and love it as it is. So it's the same in the inner search and in the outer search. Of course, we want to pass on the Reiki in a good way, that it can help the practitioner to practice it well, to be successful in their treatments, to be confident in their treatments, to help people make a big change in their life. For all that, we need to know what we're doing. I cannot just sit there and go, and say, okay, you're healed now, go home. It's good to know, and then pay attention to the invisible part. So I remember in India they have like a kind of a proverb or a saying that the master musician breaks the instrument.
Mm.
So what does that mean? It means that once you have learned it, you're free.
Yeah.
You don't need it anymore. I realized that many years ago I was doing a Reiki technique called Kenyoku. It means dry bathing, where it's a kind of a cleansing exercise, not in the sense of cleansing something negative of your body. You do it by these three blood strokes and then doing something like that. It's not getting rid of negative energy, but like wiping a whiteboard clean. Not because what you have written is bad or wrong, but so you can write something new. It's just letting go of the past. And I had written a whole book about all sorts of techniques. this was one of them, together with Walter Lübeck, and I published it. And I was actually in, I think in Latvia, and somebody came with that book 25 years ago or so. Somebody came with that book. I had never seen it before in printed version and asked me to autograph it. So it's a book on techniques, and I find myself, I catch myself writing, the best technique is the one that you don't need anymore. And I was thinking, oh boy, where did that come from? I just published a book with techniques, and I'm telling him, get rid of the techniques. But it's not that you get rid of the techniques, but you use them, and once they have taught you their secret, then you don't need the technique anymore. You got it. So when thinking about the cleansing technique, the Kenyoku, I did that for many, many years, every day, kind of almost religiously, not once a day, but several times a day. Every time I felt that I'm not in the present, I need to bring myself back to now, I was using that. And then at some point, one day, I realized that, I haven't used that technique for a few weeks. What's going on? Am I negligent in my practice? Am I getting lazy? Is my ego is speaking, saying, no, don't change too much, stay with the old ways? And I realized then that by using that technique again and again and again for years, I learned how to bring myself back to the present without that movement. And then I got it. I was like, yeah, okay, that's it. So learn the techniques, use them, and hopefully one day
So
they have done their job.
the technique is actually about the cleaning, but it's giving you something beyond.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So I use it not only for, let's say, doing it before and after treatments, but also every time I noticed psycho-emotional negative pattern, I did this to discontinue, to bring myself into the now, into the now, into the now.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very beautiful. So techniques are really good for eventually maybe finding out that you don't need them and you never needed them. But we need the time to practice to get it. It's the same again with relationships. When you have one kind of uncomfortable relationship after another, again and again, and at some point you realize, I don't need that.
Yeah.
If why does it take so long? I don't know, but at some point you get it, and then you can let it go. But until you've reached that saturation point, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Today our brain is trying to figure out everything to make it harder, more difficult, but it's actually nothing is difficult. It's all about the state of inner energy resource you want to reach.
Yeah, nothing is difficult. We are in a very strange situation now, very strange time in the development of humanity, I think. When I began to be interested in meditation, is 50 years ago. I was young, I was 15 when I started. We were told by our teachers that, you're using only 10% of your potential, yeah, of your mind, and there's so much more that you can have. And now, 50 years later, we find that we are totally overwhelmed by the wealth of knowledge that is at our fingertips all the time. I think we really have to watch out that we don't over exhaust ourselves. I see a lot of people who have like burnout, burnout from too much information. It's just too much. We can't. Our system can't handle it. Overused. We need to go back to the basics.
Yeah, you are right. Actually, the more information we receive during the day and through our life, the more you understand that actually everything is very simple and the solution is here. You don't need to fly somewhere or to, it's just everything is so simple.
That's the secret. But then, as we said earlier, maybe we need to complicate things more and more and more and more, more and more and more until
Mm,
we had enough, and then we go, let's go sit on the beach or
yeah,
sit out somewhere, listen to the birds, and everything's fine.
yeah. Because anyway, everything you need is coming to you and will come to you in either way. You don't need all the time to figure out by your brain and your mind how to do, what to do.
We feel insecure, I suppose, and that's why we make all this morality and ideas about knowing how the universe works. We don't know nothing. We are so insignificant, beautifully insignificant, of course. I love human beings, I love nature, but here, when you look up at the night sky and you can see the Milky Way, and then if you consider for a moment, we're looking at this immensity, this incredible, incomprehensible space. Yeah? And then if you think that you know how things should be, how the universe should be,
Yeah,
you just have to laugh. We don't know nothing, yeah? And it's all right. It's okay. And it's okay to be insignificant and not knowing. It's okay. It's fine. We don't need to fill that gap of insecurity with more and more and more stuff. Just look at the container, don't look at the content.
yeah. And going back to Reiki, I remember in your film with Rene, you mentioned a very nice word, like a sentence. You can't learn the wrong Reiki. And because today many people they are talking about different schools, different Reiki, my Reiki, your Reiki, and this is actually what you mentioned also, my Reiki, your Reiki. And I like the way how you were talking about this, even about Reiki, like on a bigger scale, beyond the school, beyond the lineage. I remember you mentioned today many people they say, what lineage you have? Okay, the lineage, even me, I used to say the lineage is very important to have it on your certificate. And you destroyed actually all the imagination about it, that whether you have, proper lineage, correct lineage or not, the same Reiki is going out of your hands. There is no right, no wrong, the same energy, you know, so simple everything.
Usui Sensei called Reiki, and he had a good reason for that. So the word lei in Japanese means spirit or soul. Ki is energy. So soul or spirit energy. And there's only one piece of writing that he left for us, was an interview with his successor, Ushida Sensei. And in it he says, Reiki is everywhere. It's in the mountains, in the rivers, everywhere around us. But we as the human being have the ability to pass that on to others at will. So even though all the animals and all of nature is vibrating with energy, we can pass it on to others and harness it and use it for helping somebody feel better. But what he's saying is that the whole nature is radiating with Reiki all the time. It goes, and if you manage to go into a deep meditative space, maybe you feel that oscillation, that pulsation of energy around you. It's everywhere. So how can one Reiki be better than the other? Because Reiki is the pulsation of energy, the universal body. That is, there are not two of those. It's the same for you, for me, for one from this school, one from that school. It doesn't matter at all. Makes no difference. If somebody tells me, oh, my Reiki is better than yours, you're already disqualified, you know, because you don't understand that it's the same. It's the same. We had many years ago, we used to have in Germany, we had rented a big house and we did Reiki shares every Wednesday or Thursday, something like that, every week for a few years, every week. And we noticed that, of course, the students were forming groups within themselves, naturally. So you would see, this guy and that lady and this one, they're always sitting together and treating each other. And of course, I accept that, but also I would have liked to mix people up more, you know, so they get to know other people and to break the boundaries a little bit. And then somebody said, I don't want this guy to touch me. He's strange, you know. And then I started to experiment. I said to them, okay, close your eyes. And then I was just taking people from one table to another table and exchanging them. They didn't know whom they were sitting with. And in the end, they said, oh, it was so nice. And I said, now open your eyes. So what comes out of anyone who's listening, any of us, what comes out of our hands is exactly the same if we have learned it properly in a way, or even if we are lucky enough to have this naturally. So lineage, why is lineage important? I have a different opinion on that than most people, I think. Yeah? So what I find is that any spiritual method connects you to the founder of that, and any religion. Yeah? Let's say Christianity takes you back to Christ, Islam takes you to Muhammad, Hinduism takes you, okay, they have many. And the lineage to me acts like a safety net. because the founder of the method, they have found themselves. They have realized their nature and everything. And they have gone through lots of hardship, obviously, because that process of finding yourself is painful. It
Yes.
shakes you up. Everything gets destroyed inside when you're on a spiritual path. All the things that you think you are, you have to let go of. You have to say goodbye. You have to free yourself. You have to peel one layer of the onion at a time until there's suddenly, poof, there's nothing left. And that it's scary and hard. And the lineage is a safety net where you know that he survived it or she survived it, the founder. I will survive that too. And I have backup. I'm connected to the tradition. I'm connected to Christ, to Muhammad, and that connection saves you. When you are alone on this kind of path, it's difficult. You need help. And the tradition, the lineage, gives you that strength from behind. This is why I think the lineage is important. To have it on the certificate or on the paper, okay, nice, but and to make an ego trip out of it, I'm closer to Sui Sensei than you, or some stupid thing like that. It doesn't make it. It doesn't make a difference. The power of Reiki anyway does not get diminished by steps between, let's say, Usui Sensei and you, whether you are in the third generation or fifth or eighth or 20, it doesn't matter because the Reiki is the same. It doesn't change. And what I find really incredible is that the Reiki has not changed ever and will never change, no matter our politics, no matter our abuse, no matter our ego-centered behavior around it. You know, it doesn't change. You cannot pollute it. You cannot change it. I know on the internet, if you look, there are people, they say, oh, the Reiki that Usui Sensei did is not appropriate anymore. We need a new contemporary Reiki that is better, has a higher vibration. Complete nonsense. Cosmic energy.
Yeah.
It's just indescribably beautiful. And we are all part of that and we're all connected to that. And if we have had, for most of us, if we've had a good teacher who's able to show us how to use that treasure that we are swimming in.
Yeah.
Beautiful, yeah. And for some people, like I said, like Usui Sensei, they can even stumble across it without a teacher, but that's unusual. Very unusual. Yeah? For me, that didn't work like that. I needed somebody to show me how to do it, and I'm very happy with that. But the Reiki is all the same. Same. Cannot be different. And no matter what you do or don't do, you can't make it better either. It's not possible. How you want to improve on cosmic energy? Well, who are you? What you can improve maybe is yourself. And maybe you can make your system more permeable, you know, and your container more beautiful. And all that, but the energy is one. What to do? is one. For many reasons, we need different schools. You have your school, I have my school. You do it your way, I do it my way. But what is inside is exactly the same. But then maybe you attract certain kinds of people. I attract other kinds of people. Like you said in the beginning, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
Everybody has different needs, and maybe people get something from you that they will never find from me.
Yeah.
So they will go to you, and I am totally happy with that. I don't believe in competition. There is no competition. I cannot compete with you. No way. Cannot.
Yeah.
Because you are unique in the way that you are, and people who are called to you, they they will not be happy with me. It's better if they are with you. So instead of creating all these conflicts in between different groups, maybe it would be wiser to understand the validity of each one, that we are all really in the same boat, pulling on the same string, rowing the same boat together instead of fighting. But then it's human nature.
And by the way, now as you are talking, I remember something, and I would like to have your opinion on that, because the different people, they have different opinions. Do we need to have intention by working with Reiki when we are doing some sessions on the clients?
Intention is kind of a little bit, I think, overrated in outside of Japan in Reiki.
Mm.
Where sometimes I hear that in groups, people say intention is everything. I see a little bit differently. So what I see is that you need an initial intention to help. Otherwise, you don't do anything. So let's say I'm sitting here, I'm watching the street, and I see somebody having a hard time walking, passing me by. I see them, I watch them, and I have an intention. I think, I think if I put my hands on them, they will be better. And I go over there and I say, if you like, I have some time. Maybe I can help you with that issue. Then they lay down. And the moment you put your hands on them, you let go of all your intention. Why? You don't need it anymore. You need it only to start. To start, it's good and necessary. But while you're working, it's detrimental. It's not good. So have an intention. Then when you place your hands on somebody, forget everything. That's how I see it. If you don't have an intention at all, yeah, I'm sitting here watching the street. Again, this guy is coming by, he's walking very badly in pain. And I see him and I think, oh, the beautiful way that he walks, dragging his leg, and how beautiful, and that he has so much pain, how beautiful that is. And I don't do anything. So I need intention
Yeah.
first. Now, maybe it's easy to understand the function of intention when looking at your meditative practice. So if you sit here and you think, okay, 4 o'clock, I'm going to do my meditation. Then 4 o'clock comes, you sit down and you have the intention to be enlightened for 1 hour. From 4 to 5, you will suffer. You will suffer immensely with that intention, because the intention keeps you from what meditation is all about. But if you don't have the intention to sit, you're not going to do it. Yeah, instead you go and play basketball or go work in the garden. Also equally nice things, but you need the intention at first to do something. It's a good thing. And then when you're doing it, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Say goodbye. Because we are in the healing, I don't know, healing arts. We are not here to decide who gets well, who lives, who dies. And we're not here to decide what is right or wrong either. So when somebody comes with a broken arm, I don't have any judgments. I say, oh, the arm is broken. I see, like a branch of a tree that is broken. And I put my hands on them
Mm-hmm.
with the intention at first to help them with their suffering. But then once I have said that, gone. And I like to work with positive images. And not only images, but also maybe sometimes I trick people with positive seeds that I plant, but only initially, in the beginning. So I remember about sometime last summer, one of my old friends had a terrible motorcycle accident,
Mm-hmm.
really bad. And I went to the hospital to see him. And I looked at him all bandaged up, arm broken, leg broken, horrible. And I just looked at him for a moment, sitting there across, couldn't really touch him. And I imagined him dancing. I was just sitting there, closing my eyes, imagining him dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just sitting there in this beautiful dancing celebration atmosphere at the hospital with somebody in the next bed screaming from pain, oh, moaning and groaning. And somehow he got that too. I didn't even touch him the first time, but had a positive image, which is an intention for him to be well. But what does that wellness mean? Yeah, that is up to him and his karma, if there is such a thing, his destiny, his way, his life. Yeah, so you you have an intention that you are dedicating your treatment to the well-being of that person, but what that well-being means is up to them.
It's like a pray.
It's like a prayer, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Beautiful. Yeah? You don't ask. I mean, for me, prayer is not asking the God to give you something. I think that's really misunderstanding. But I often go to a beautiful monastery we have here or the island dedicated to Archangel Michael.
Wow.
And he is the patron saint of our island here. So, and he's our special friend. So I go there. When I go there, I just say, okay, give me strength that I can help people. I don't ask for anything. What to ask? What to ask? We are here. We are beautiful, but all is good.
Yeah.
So intention, yes. Start with it, and then drop it. Let it go. Don't decide. Don't decide what should be. In the example with the broken arm, the arm is broken. Who am I to say that it shouldn't be broken? It is. Huh? And it's all right. As far as that goes, it's okay.
Yeah. Going back, you set up intention and then you go back to the 5 principles of Reiki. Don't worry about it. Just be grateful today. Yeah.
And kyo dake wa, only today. So in this moment, be in the moment. That's okay. So set out with the intention, maybe have a positive image about the healing of the client, and then let it go and just put your hands and enter nothingness. Enter the infinite space. And that's good.
Wonderful. You know, our talk is always beyond Reiki, beyond the technique, something really special to have a chat, to have a talk with you. And you mentioned now you mentioned with a big gratitude your place where you are living, this church today, Archangel Michael, you know, it's giving me some imagination of how you are living, you know. And I know that many of people watching us, they are curious about your schedule. Are you mostly in teaching in your space, in your island, or I know you have now very tight schedule because I saw your website, your schedule. You are going to Germany soon, I believe. Yes, maybe
To Italy, I think I
Italy.
go in the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
From tomorrow, okay, so I will tell you what's going on. This year, I haven't hardly done any work for 5 months. I've been off. I had lots of things scheduled. They all got cancelled. I don't know why. So I haven't had any income for 5 months. Very hard. But instead, I managed to work in our organic olive farm. Things I wouldn't have time to do if I was working. Then I've been working on writing my manuals for my Reiki teaching. I wouldn't have had time if I was doing workshops. I'm working on 2 new books. Again, I wouldn't have had time. So this year has been kind of a financial disaster, but all for good reason. So I could do other things that need to be done. And now from May onwards, I'm going to be quite busy. So I go to, I have a workshop here from tomorrow, starting tomorrow, Reiki 1 and 2, 6 days. In the end of the month, I go to Italy, then I go to Mallorca, then I go to Germany, then to I think Brazil and New Zealand and France. So many stops, and in between I work at home. Home is my favorite place to work. It's so nice here. You must come and visit one day. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And then I do all sorts of other things, like I have so many different faces, let's say, that people, maybe you guys who are listening, you don't imagine. You think, oh, this guy is a author, or maybe he's spiritual or anything. You should see what I do during the day. The last 2 months, I've been with the chainsaw in the garden, cutting wood, pruning olives, with mowing grass. Then I've been renovating an apartment we rent by the sea, painting. So the last 2 months I was all full of paint, and so very different, maybe very different from
So you
what
connect the sky and the earth, some sort of grounding.
for me there's nothing spiritual. I don't make a distinction. Nothing spiritual or worldly. It's all one. If you do the house painting or the garden work with the spiritual, with the good inner attitude, it's like prayer. It's all the same. Nothing is better. And I learned that, I suppose, early on, because I worked hard most of my life physically. The beginning, the first 15 years of my, let's say, professional life, I worked lots of hard work in construction, in farming, in gardening, house painting, all sorts of things I did. And I learned that I'm not too good to do any kind of work. If the toilet needs cleaning, I go clean the toilet. Like that, and I enjoy it. So don't have any judgment for this is spiritual, this is not spiritual, this one is better, this one not at all. I do whatever it needs to be done. And I pay attention to doing that joyously and not with a face like that. So this is kind of my schedule. And then besides the working on the farm, we have an organic olive farm, small. In the summer months, like from now on, I would go to swim every day. We live close by the sea. And then I go out on the boat, maybe. I write poetry. I go to football games with my son. Like a normal dad. Spend lots of time with my wife.
Are you planning anything in your place? Any event?
Always, always. We have a Reiki group starting tomorrow, 6 days, and then the next one here is going to be June, I think 9 to 14. I will teach Reiki again. Then from June 29 to July 5th or so, we do a 1 week meditation retreat here.
Okay.
Maybe 6 hours every day of sitting, and then the rest of the time we do some sharing.
Yeah.
And
It's good to know, because many people internationally, they are watching our interviews, so they may join your events also.
Yeah, you can look on my website, my name, Frank Arjava Petter.
Yeah. I put it in the comments in the description section, or on the YouTube channel, so they can benefit, by the way. Yeah. And by the way, our first interview, many people commented privately to me that, Lena, it was some sort of healing interview, because they got so much energy, inspiration after February interview. So
nice. I'm glad to hear it.
yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. Thanks God you had time this 2-3 months. You were not so busy, so we could share some things, with the people. And it's a great pleasure for me, a big honor for me to have you on my YouTube channel also.
Thank you for not giving up on me. I missed the last 2 appointments because we are painting the house and doing all sorts of things, and I was a bit overloaded and I just forgot. So, for the future, send me a WhatsApp.
Now I have the key.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
at 11 o'clock. That's
When you have the number of the person, you feel more close to this person. Great. Okay, more than 1 hour we have been together. Thank you for a nice, wonderful interview and chat beyond the topics. We didn't discuss many things, about techniques, but we discussed many life topics. I'm grateful for that.
good. Thank you, Elena, for talking to me, and thank you everybody for listening and watching this. Hopefully see you again soon. So
Yeah.
keep in touch, and then when you want to do the next one, just let me know and we do it. There's always time. I make sure that I have time in between workshops. So let's say if I go away for 2 weeks, I stay home for 3 or 4 weeks. So there's always space.
Yeah.
That's one of the secrets, really, not to make yourself too busy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is maybe the slogan of this interview.
You need time to be with yourself and to get in touch with yourself.
And your body, your soul.
And your body, very important.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about how to do that next time. That's a nice subject.
Yeah, great topic. And thank you for reminding us these life essences, small things, but sometimes we forget about them. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
เธออย่าเพิ่งท้อนะ เธอไม่ต้องไปกลัวนะ โชคชะตา